Hey, I'm Dr. J. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make an absolutely delicious shepherd's pie. We're going to start first with doing the potatoes. I love making mashed potatoes in my Instant Pot. If you've never done this before, they come out perfect every time. So this is just about 2.5 pounds, 2.25 pounds of russet potatoes that I've peeled and just kind of drained. There we go. The secret is before, like if you're peeling your potatoes and you're doing something else, put them in cold water. That way they don't brown. So I just kind of drained them right before we started filming. Just to cover them, just by about an inch. Let's see. It doesn't have to be exact, but I just want to make sure that they're all covered. So there we go. I've got 8 cups of water. I've got 3 cloves of garlic that I've already peeled, just going on in. This is the great thing about the Instant Pot. So simple. And I'm going to put in just about 1 teaspoon of salt. All my ingredients will be in the description below for you, okay? Now this is it. We cover it on up, just like that. We're going to put it on high pressure. And let's see here. And then we're going to go for 8 minutes total. That's it. That's simple. So 8 minutes it's going to go. It will take about 10-15 minutes to come up to pressure. Then when it's done at 8 minutes, we're going to do a quick release. And then it's going to mash up some potatoes. Amazing. Okay, so the potatoes are done. I'm just going to give it a quick release. I'm just going to hit the cancel. And then some of you have a push and some of you have a slide. Either way, it's just going to let the pressure out. So it's safe for us to open this, okay? Okay, so once that pin drops, we know it's safe to take off the cover. Alright, smells good. Okay, so this is what I want to show you next. This is a step that you don't want to miss. So we're going to keep this on warm. I want to drain the potatoes, okay? Okay, so you just don't want to skip this step. You definitely want to make sure that you put the potatoes back in because they still have water in them. And we just really want to get rid of that extra water because we don't want our potatoes gummy. And just let them go about 1 to 2 minutes just to get off. And you'll hear actually that water kind of getting released. And then we're going to add in our butter and our sour cream and get it all mixed together. Okay, so we let the potatoes dry out just a couple of minutes. I have 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter going in. I like to use unsalted, just that way we can control our salt, but if you don't have it, that's okay. You'll just use a little less on the other end. Hit this on saute. And then I'm gonna have it on saute. Mine says less or low, whichever one yours says. And we're just gonna get that butter to melt a little bit. This is such a great way to make mashed potatoes, y'all. It's so easy because everything just happens in this pot. I don't have to watch it on the stove, boiling, checking to see if my potatoes are tender. I did this once during the holidays, and I'm like, why have I not done this before? I'm just gonna let that butter melt, and then we're gonna get our milk and our sour cream and a little bit of seasoning in there. Okay, so the butter's melted. I'm just gonna put it back on, just kind of keep everything warm. I now have half a cup of whole milk, gonna go in. Nice and creamy. This is 1/4 cup of sour cream. Just gives it a little bit of tang. So delicious. You know what too you could also use if you want to lighten things up a little bit? You could use some Greek yogurt in there. That would be delicious as well. I have 3/4 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. And I'm going to add just a little bit more salt, another pinch. And then I'm going to taste, and then I'll see if I need any more seasoning. And I'm just going to go in and mash away. We like our potatoes a little chunky. I'm not about running them with a little, blender, a handheld blender, but you can, if you like them like that, go for it. That's the great thing about cooking, right? You can kind of make these recipes your own. But you know what? You don't even need to. They're so soft. They're so good. I'm telling you, Instant Pot is the way to go for mashed potatoes. You're going to try this. You'll never do it on the stovetop again. Okay, I'm just going to give these just a little taste. See where we're at with seasoning. Those are good, but they need just a little bit more, another pinch of salt. So this is why I say, this is where you want to, don't be afraid to go back in and season. Okay? All right, I'm going to shut this off. And this is the great part for the shepherd's pie. I'm just going to put these in a bowl. I'm going to let them kind of hang out while I get the meat filling kind of done. And then we're going to get this in the oven. It's going to be amazing. I can make a meal just off of these. Okay, so now we're gonna start our meat filling. So I've got a cast iron pan, go over medium-high heat. I'm just gonna add just a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You don't really need it because the beef will give off some, but I just like the flavor that it adds. This is 1.5 pounds of grass-fed ground beef. You could absolutely use lamb. I believe the lamb is more traditional. We just like ground beef, and it's what I had on hand. So just gonna give this kind of mix up. We want it kind of all chopped up. I love shepherd's pie. And it comes together pretty quick. I'm just gonna chop this just a little bit, and then we're gonna get our spices in. Okay, that's looking good. But I added my spices, and I'll have all my ingredients and measurements listed below. I always test my recipes for you ahead of time, so I know it's gonna taste good. So we've got kosher salt, black pepper, paprika, and a little bit of thyme going on in there. I think what's so fun about cooking is you can kind of make each dish your own. So I'm sure this is not 100% authentic, but it has a little spin from things that I like. It's so funny. Growing up in New England, especially in the Boston area, pretty much everybody had a last name that was either Italian or Irish. There was like Cataldos or the Callans, and I mean, it went on and on. That's my whole high school yearbook was like that. And it was really funny because, you know, when you're high school and I was dating, if it happened to be an Irish boy, the mom would be like, oh, I can definitely see the Irish in you. And I'm thinking, right. And of course, you know, if it was an Italian boy, I definitely see the Italian in you. I'm like, okay. Funny part is my stepdaughter, Jesselyn, and her fiance, Mark, they got us that DNA testing. And I pretty much was pretty sure where I would fall, but I knew I was going to be half Italian because my mother's family, my mother's side is all Italian. But my dad's side, so my maiden name is Gallagher. It doesn't get much more Irish than that, right? I was always told we were Irish on his side, French, and French Canadian. When the DNA came back, again, 50% Italian, but I was like 30% Irish, very, very little French. So it was kind of cool, kind of interesting to see. I think like 5% or something like that was very interesting. If you haven't done it, it's kind of a cool thing to do as a family. I'm just going to let this brown. This will take anywhere from like 5 to 6 minutes, and then I'm going to show you how to get the rest of it going. Okay, so the meat's all browned. I'm just going to take it out, and I'm going to drain this fat, and then we're going to add a little bit more oil to it. But I just want to get it all out of here first. And we're just building layers, beautiful flavors, right? Awesome. Okay, got a few little brown bits in there. No big deal. Gonna add just another couple tablespoons of olive oil. And then I have 1/2 of a large onion that I just kind of diced up. We always want to season every layer. So I'm just gonna give it just a little hint of salt and then a little crushed black pepper. Just want to make sure all your food tastes good, right? So that's kind of the secret. We still have some of those oils in the pan from the paprika and all of that, so yum. And we're just going to let this get nice and tender. This will take about 5 minutes. Okay, onions are getting nice and tender and translucent. I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon or so of this tomato paste. I love this stuff in the tube. It's fabulous. It just makes life so much easier when you're trying to cook when you're busy, right? Just want to let that cook down no longer than a minute. It'll just change in color. It'll really intensify the flavor. So good. I wish you could smell it. I think that's the fun thing about cooking too, right? You just get all your senses involved, right? So here's what things I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. I'm going to add in 2 cloves of garlic. I love these little microplanes. They're fabulous. They just make for quick work of getting the garlic in there. Okay, there's 1. Whoop. Just be careful you don't get your fingers in there. All right. Garlic, you don't want to cook too long. So 30 seconds to a minute, and then you want to get things rolling because you'll actually burn it. Burnt garlic is no good. It's actually quite bitter. Okay, going in. Oh, that smells so fabulous. I mean, I think garlic makes everything better, right? Okay, that's good. I have 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. We're going to make a roux. Okay, just going to let that melt down. This is really a simple dish. It's a few steps to make, but it's so worth it. And I've cut some corners. I'll show you. For our veggies, I use an organic mix that I buy. I buy a big bag of organic veggies that are frozen. So it kind of saves a lot of chopping and all that. Butter's melting. I also have, so 1/4 of a cup of the butter, 1/4 of a cup of flour going in. This is going to thicken our gravy that we're actually making right here in the pan. And you just want to cook the flour, a couple minutes. You just don't want to have that raw flour taste. Okay. All around there. Onions, butter, garlic. I mean, that's just a good start for any dish. Looks pretty too, right? Oh, I almost forgot my Worcestershire sauce. So that's going to go just 2 teaspoons of that. Just give it another punch of flavor. All right. Now I've got 2 cups of low sodium beef stock or broth. Either one is fine. Again, I try to get low sodium because, again, it's just nice to be able to control it yourself. And just want to slowly mix this in, get it combined. Okay, so our gravy has come up to a little bit of a bubble. You can see how it actually thickens, and so you really want it to come up to temperature to thicken that gravy for you. It smells so good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we're just going to, again, put things together. Everything's all cooked now, right? So I'm going to shut my heat off. I'm going to add in my ground meat. Whatever juices you have, those go right in as well. It all adds flavor to your dish. So yummy. Okay. Okay, gonna give that a little mix. Okay, so this is another time saver, right? So I love to use frozen organic veggies, and this is not a traditional mix. We have got corn, there's peas, there's green beans and carrots, but we love it, so why not, right? So gonna go right in as well. Okay, and that's 3 cups, and I'm just gonna fold it all in. And then we're just going to get this assembled in my casserole dish. We're going to get it in the oven. It'll take about 30 minutes till it's nice and bubbly, and your family and friends are going to love this. Okay, this is looking amazing. So we've got all the beef and the gravy in there. Now we're just going to add our mashed potatoes on top. It's going to be so good. Good. I'm just going to spread this out, make it look pretty, and I'm going to get this in the oven. Okay, so I'm going to sprinkle it. It's all set, looks gorgeous, but a little pecorino doesn't hurt anybody, right? So I don't think traditionally it has any cheese on top, but we like cheese, so it's okay. I've seen some people put some shredded cheese on there. That would be delicious too. If you don't like the cheese, you just leave it out. That's all right. All right. So everything's cooked. All I want to do is just get everything heated up together. We're going to brown the potatoes a little bit, and it's going to get all nice and bubbly. About 30 minutes, 375. Okay, this is done. It smells so good in here. It's really just time to taste it. So I'm going to plate up a little bit for Eric and I, and just going to go in. So I took it out of the oven. It was nice and bubbly. I let it sit for about 10 minutes. It was really hard to do that because it smelled so good. I just kind of want it to set a little bit. I'm just going to go in, give us a nice scoop. I mean, look at that. So yummy. I want a little bit of this right on the side. Right, doesn't that look so good? And I know Eric likes chives, so I'm going to take a little liberty and put a few of those on top. Just looks pretty, right? Come on, your family and friends are going to love this. Okay, you want to try some, Eric? Woohoo! All right. I mean, a little luck of the Irish with this, I think, right?
Oh, my Lord, yeah. It smells so good.
All we need now is like a little Guinness or something.
Oh.
Right? All right, yeah. I'm going to go in.
Go for it.
I want a little bit of everything. A little bit of potatoes. It's still real hot, so comes with the warning.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's such a cool blend of flavors with the mashed potatoes and the ground beef.
So
it's like your main meal and your sides all in one.
I love that.
Of course, I love the beans and the carrots in there.
And potatoes. I mean, who can go wrong?
Oh,
so good. I love it. If you like our recipes, please share with your friends and family. And if you have not subscribed, please do. And don't forget to click that bell. That way you know when our next video is coming out. Love you all. Happy St. Patty's Day.